So guys, the crypto markets are still trading sideways right now. We have global economic events that are still happening. Some altcoin investors believe that we're going to be ripping up with the price action that we're seeing with Ethereum and the others chart, but other investors and analysts that have been here for longer, or even the same time, believe that we could be seeing more deviations based off of what we're seeing with Bitcoin dominance and overall the price action in the charts. Today, I want to give you guys an update on currently what we're seeing, the price action with Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, and everything else in between, and why some people believe we're going to be ripping up and others believe we could be crashing down. But if you're new to my channel, go and check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price action around Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, practically everything you need to be aware of. Guys, right now the markets are trading sideways. Saw a little bit of recovery after the massive deviations in the past week with the whole conflict with Iran and Israel. But ever since then, we've seen a lot of trade deals go through. We're seeing a lot of talks about the tariffs that are probably going to go back into play. And right now, people have different perspectives. Some people believe we're going to be ripping up. Others believe we're going to be crashing down a little bit more. So with all that being said, guys, there's a lot that's going on. But let's go ahead and just walk through what you need to be aware of. So guys, like how I said, the crypto markets have been trading sideways. Bitcoin's still currently sitting at around 107,000. Ethereum's still sitting at around that 2,400 region. And right now, everything is just, like I said, chopping sideways based off of all the news events and everything that has been taking place. We have been seeing a little bit of recovery, but we're not breaking through any specific zones. I have been keeping you guys updated on the altcoin chart with this total 3 chart, but I was informed of a better chart yesterday. And this chart is the total 3E, which is pretty much the total 3 chart excluding Bitcoin as well as Ethereum and stables. So this is giving us a much more in-depth understanding on how altcoins look, and this is why I believe a lot of people still think that altcoins are on the verge of a crazy recovery, but whenever you start to exclude all of these other assets, you can really see that altcoins are still deviating. And we talked about it in recent videos, guys, with Bitcoin dominance shooting up, and I talked about how when you should be selling your altcoins, and it's just following the price action with Bitcoin dominance compared to the total 3 chart, but now the total 3 E, which is a really great chart, guys, that excludes all those other assets. So this is going to be a really great way to determine when altcoins are going to get the liquidity that they need to initiate altcoin season. But right now, Bitcoin dominance is still on a crazy rise, and altcoins are still on a downfall. USDT dominance is also showing that people are starting to slowly reallocate into stables just because they're uneasy and uncertain about what's going to be happening. So this is why we see stables jump up a little bit and then see a little bit of dip once we start to see Bitcoin dominance rally, because people are allocating to more other assets just to hedge their bets. But right now, guys, what is causing all the fluctuations? It's really all the price action that we're seeing based off of specific zones and balances, and then on top of that, the global economic events that are having an effect. The fiasco and war that was happening with Iran and Israel that we now have a ceasefire on. Now everything is all eyes on the tariffs, which we talked about 2 days ago, which is why you need to make sure you guys are following the channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe just so you're aware of all this information. But we did talk about exactly how that was having an effect on buyer sentiment and investor sentiment. We did see also Trump come out with the big beautiful bill that he said was going to be amazing for America, but Elon Musk said it's going to be destroying millions of jobs in America. So we're going to be seeing how that is going to be having an effect on the market and everyone reacting to that. But right now, we are seeing that President Trump comments on his July 9th deadline for the 90-day tariff pause. And he says, I don't think I need to extend it, but could. So he has been talking about how more than likely we're going to be seeing trade deals come in before that deadline, which we have been seeing with a few different countries. But right now, he's just pretty much stemming that he could, extend that deadline if needed be. And then he goes on to say how interest rates should be at 1%, and we have a stupid person at the Fed. And right now, guys, there's a lot of mixed sentiment based off of the GDP data and employment data that came out last week. And this is why it's super important to keep up with this information, just because this has a huge effect on price action around specific sectors like oil, gold, and a few other different things, guys. But right now, everything is just teeter-tottering. Now, different perspectives on where we're going to be heading with altcoins and the crypto markets in general. Some people are showing the price action we're seeing with Ethereum and Bitcoin and the altcoin market cap, and pretty much to show how that we're coiling up and getting ready for that next leg up and about to break out. Merlin, the trader, talks about how altcoins are coiling up again. The broadening wedge pattern doesn't lie. First breakout, textbook bullish. Current retest holding strong what comes next made millionaires last cycle. And I really do believe that we are on the verge of a crazy rip up. But based off of the price action we're currently seeing with Bitcoin dominance, with the total 3 SE chart, this is where we can really determine that, you know, altcoins are still seeing more deviations, and we could be seeing a little bit more before we actually rip up. And the comparison that a lot of people like to do is pretty much these previous lows that we saw with the altcoin market whenever we hit these zones. But this is where everyone has different perspectives, and also the chart is much different than previous cycles, so it's really hard to actually compare each one. But also, Crypto Mitch now is super pumped and bullish about the markets as well. He says the trend is strongly upwards for the entire market capitalization of crypto. This means that we're still in for a big breakout upwards, as the altcoin market capitalization is still down 50% from all-time highs. And I think this is completely true. It's just, what does that timeline look like? I don't want everyone to get super pumped up and think we're already going to be pumping in the next month or so, when really it's probably only going to start happening at the end of September, potentially even at the end of November. But we're going to be seeing, even Merlin talked about how the price action around Ethereum was looking super bullish, just based off of what we were currently seeing. And I think it's all based off of, you know, what you're following, and, you know, different indicators. And he even says every time ETH hits this zone, it reverses hard. No need for 10 indicators or, you know, 10 different perspectives. He says this is a textbook reversal zone, one of those spots you just don't fade. And I'm pretty much hoping that, you know, we just rip up to Valhalla, but I'm also standing on the fact that there's also other perspectives based off of where we're hitting. Crypto Intelligence X talks about how a Sunday pump often results in a Monday dump. He doesn't want to say dump because he just doesn't want to put that into fruition, but I think it could be happening. He says Bitcoin is approaching a supply trend line on the daily time frame after a strong bullish week. A retracement wouldn't surprise me, and this is where I talked about how the market saw a little bit of recovery after the whole fiasco with Iran and Israel. He says, let's see if bulls can defeat the trend line. Based off of the trend line, though, guys, we could be seeing a little bit of deviations, especially moving into the week. Everyone was reacting to the tariffs and everything else that's been going on, rate cuts, and more information that's coming out. So potentially get ready for a little bit more deviations, especially moving into the next week. Benjamin Cohen made a great 32-minute video talking about exactly why altcoin season did not happen. And exactly what he says practically correlates to my video where I was talking about exactly when you should be selling your altcoins. And it's all stemmed from the fact of following the price action with Bitcoin dominance in the total 3 chart, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stable coins. This is where I got those other charts as well. And this was a great understanding in terms of when liquidity is going to pour back into altcoins. And this is where you can get different perspectives, where people say altcoin season is already going to happen, and other people believe no, we're going to see more deviations before it actually occurs. But this is where I like to give you guys multiple perspectives, give you guys multiple sources of information, and then from there you can do your own research and double back with me and let me know what you guys are thinking. But this was a great video talking about exactly why altcoin season hasn't happened and why we could be seeing more deviations before we rip up. Now, my altcoin portfolio, guys, in the last 7 days, some of the assets are up significantly. Hash AI up 59%, Just a Chill Guy 28%, Destra 48%, Mr. Miggles 20%. And this is where, you know, you want to start gravitating towards those strong assets. On this channel, I just recently dropped a video talking about exactly the actual assets you should be looking into, the top 10 coins that are probably going to 20x by August. And this is where you can make some decent gains, guys, by dollar cost averaging. Now, could we still be seeing a little bit more deviations before the huge rip up? Yes. This is why you shouldn't just blow your whole load at the market. You should dollar cost average, slowly put in some money, and that way if we see more deviations, you can allocate more and lower your entry point. But overall, swiping everything to the side, guys, that is currently what is going on. It is currently only 11:53 a.m. Central Standard Time here in the United States for me. So I know there's going to be much more updates nearing the end of the day. I'm going to drop another video talking about exactly you know, what is currently happening, more updates that happen while we get to the end of the day, based off of the futures with the United States, as well as overall if, you know, there's more sentiment or more news events that come out near the end of the day. And then on top of that, I did want to go through my crypto portfolio and my strategy right now and a few other different perspectives. So if you guys are new to my channel, go ahead and check out the rest of my content. I keep you guys updated on the day-to-day events, price section on Bitcoin, Ethereum, altcoins, how liquidity is shifting, and everything you need to be aware of so that you can position yourself correctly. Right now, guys, everything is teeter-tottering. We have people saying that altcoin season's already going to happen. Other people are saying no, that's not going to happen. We're going to be seeing more deviations before the huge rip up, and that's why the best thing to do right now is dollar cost average. Keep up with these events and everything else in between, and on this channel I do all that for you. So if you're new to the channel, drop me a comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you think of my content. Let me know what you think of my perspective. Let me know what you think is happening in the markets, when you think altcoin season's gonna happen. I love to hear everyone's perspective, so drop it down below. I drop day-to-day content every single day, so stay tuned, and hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. Peace.